Hey there. Today I thought we could talk about how to inspect a used car and some of the reasons why you might want to do that. First off is financial savings. So you want to avoid the immediate depreciation hit of a new car, which can lose 20% of its value in just the first year. Pretty much as soon as you drive it off the lot, it's losing a lot of value. A used car retains its value much better than a new one. Also, with a lower overall purchase price, you can reduce the amount of sales tax you pay, and you'll have cheaper insurance and registration fees that are usually tied to the value of a vehicle. Also, you get more value and choice for your money. So the used car market has about 3 times as many vehicles available as the new car market, and you just get more car for your money. You might be able to upgrade to, say, a limited edition or a sport edition that you want, rather than settling for the base model. So if you go used, you can get more features for the same money. And then transparency and security. Vehicle history reports make buying a used car a lot safer than it once was. You can get Carfax and other reports called AutoCheck is another one that's out there. You can run these reports. They cost $30 to $40, but it's really a small price to pay for the peace of mind. It'll tell you all about the car's history, any accidents, some maintenance records. A lot of the bigger shops and dealerships will record their maintenance records in Carfax. And you can look at the full history and give yourself a little more confidence and reassurance about the vehicle that you're buying. Also, you can buy certified pre-owned from dealerships. I know Toyota and Honda offers these, as well as some of the other brands. This means that manufacturer and that dealership actually guarantees their multi-point inspection. And those are safety items, performance items. They're basically giving you a short guarantee. By default, it might only be 30 to 90 days. Some of them will offer extended warranties on top of that. So those are some of the reasons why you might want to buy used. I myself buy used, and even though I might be able to afford a newer car, I choose used because I just get more for my money. So now let's talk about how to inspect one. So you want to research before you go shopping, and you want to make sure that you know what you're looking for and what size vehicle you want, what kind of mileage you'd like to get. And if you go on the online forums, you can read about some of the common problems that particular model or brand has. You could look it up on Consumer Reports, maybe subscribe for a month there just to get prepared for research that you need to do. Consumer Reports is really good for letting you know which cars are most reliable, and then you can look up on other YouTube channels on people who have owned these vehicles and get a better idea of what kind of problems they might have seen, what they like and dislike about the models. And finally, you want to settle on 2 or 3 model cars that suit your needs. The test drive. So go to the dealership or the owner and ask for a test drive. You want to listen for any strange noises, especially when the car is started from cold. Sometimes heating up the car can mask some of the problems, so ideally you'd like to listen for those noises when it starts up cold. And drive over some bumps to test the suspension for noises and roughness. Check if the car tracks straight, especially when you let go of the steering wheel for a short time. See if it wanders on its own or if it keeps a straight path. And the steering wheel should be centered when the wheels are straight, right? And if it's not, it might need an alignment or something like that. Test the brakes by applying them a little harder than normal, just to see if you give them a little extra pressure. Do they shudder or make any sounds like a squealing noise or anything like that? If so, the brakes might be getting low, the pads might be getting worn. Also, check for wheel bearing issues. You can do that by a couple different ways. One way is while you're driving, make sure that you have plenty of room in the lane, no cars around you when you do this, but you can just take the steering wheel and go back and forth a little bit, and that's putting some pressure on the wheel bearing side to side. And listen for noises and see how it reacts. Of course, do this at lower speeds in a safe area. Also, push the engine just a little bit. You might want to take it up to highway speed, or at least to a nice cruising speed. Test the accelerator, make sure it can handle faster acceleration. And then also drive it smoothly for a little bit and try gentle acceleration. Sometimes you'll detect problems during gentle acceleration that you won't during hard acceleration, such as transmission issues, and torque converter issues. And make sure you test all the features. You don't just want to test the major components, but the smaller stuff too, like battery health and power windows, door locks. Go ahead and, during the test drive, check the AC, the heater, the sunroof, the GPS, wipers, and horn. Make sure those all work. Operate the power windows and door locks multiple times just to see if maybe the motors are stuck or going bad. Make sure those all work. And then check for wind noise by opening and closing the sunroof and windows, and just see if you can hear any air leaks in the sunroof or windows. That might indicate that there's a seal that's failed or failing. And then you can get a battery tester or even get a free battery test from a lot of the auto parts shops and get that battery tested and just see what it has for life on it. And then visually inspect the engine. Look around for oil leaks, fluids, sludge. Look inside the oil cap. Look for signs of leaks or any aftermarket modifications. Check the hoses, the clamps and belts for cracks and damage. Check the coolant level and the condition of the brake fluid. See that it's looking nice and clean. The brake fluid is normally like a clear amber color. And then inspect the paint and body for signs of previous accidents, large dents or mismatched panels. Maybe the paint's not the same on one section of the car as it is on the others. That could be signs that it was in a previous accident and got some body work done. So look for mismatched colors and gaps, uneven gaps between the panels. Also, you want to do an undercar inspection. Now, not everybody's comfortable doing this themselves. If you do choose to do it yourself, make sure you know what you're doing and that you have a really safe and strong jack to put the car up on, that you do it on a level surface. But if you choose to, you could also hire a mechanic to do some of these inspection items that you can't do. You might live in an apartment or somewhere where you just can't put a car up on a jack. There's no room for it. So most mechanics will do car inspection for $75 to $100 is what I found is about the going rate. So get that car up on a lift or a jack and then check for play in the wheels to inspect the suspension components. So you can grab a hold of a wheel and turn it and push on it and see if there's a lot of play in there. And then look for leaks underneath from the engine and transmission. Inspect the struts and the boots, bushings, and look for tearing, leaks, and rust. Also check the CV boots for cracks and grease leaks. And finally, check the exhaust for rust and leaks as well. So a louder than normal exhaust might indicate a leak, and then you might be able to take a closer look underneath and see if the exhaust pipes or the muffler is rusted out. Also, use a scan tool. You can buy these on Amazon or buy them in auto parts shops. Generally $50 or so you can buy a scanning tool. The more advanced ones are a little more money. You can also bring the car into most auto parts stores and have a free scan done. And it'll tell you if there's any diagnostic codes or even a history of old diagnostic codes that might have been cleared previously. That can give you a few clues as to what might have been wrong with the car in the past that was either fixed, or even some sellers might be trying to hide a diagnostic code by clearing it, and that scan will tell you. And then you might just be able to ask the owner a little bit more about that code and find out why it was cleared. And then confirm that the mileage and VIN number match what was given to you. You want to make sure that there's a clean title so that the seller is indeed able to sell the vehicle to you. So check the mileage and the VIN number on the vehicle against the title. Make sure that those match. And then, if possible, review the car's service history. So you can either get this from a Carfax report or possibly from the seller themselves. You can ask them if they have maintenance records on the vehicle. And look for consistent oil changes, major repairs, and you can get a rough idea of the periods and frequencies these should be done at from looking online for the owner's manual. And the manufacturer will generally tell you how frequently each fluid change and other repairs should be done. So this is a basic summary of what to look for in a used car and how to inspect it. We can go into more detail If you have any questions about any one of these items, just put that down in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer. Until next time, I hope you have fun searching for that new car. Until next time, hope you have fun searching for that used car.